Welcome to the Real Crime Diary, Daily Dose of Crime. I'm your host, MHB. What happens when a music icon's dark secrets are finally exposed? Today, we dive into the shocking case of R. Kelly, a story that rocked the nation and left the music industry reeling. How did a Grammy-winning artist go from topping charts to facing decades behind bars? Brace yourselves for a tale of fame, power, and a justice system put to the test. R. Kelly's legal troubles began long before his recent convictions. Back in 2002, a shocking videotape surfaced, allegedly showing the R&B star engaging in sexual acts with a minor. This explosive revelation led to criminal charges against Kelly, thrusting him into a high-profile legal battle that would last for years. Despite the damning evidence, Kelly's legal team mounted a strong defense. In 2008, after a lengthy trial, Kelly was acquitted of all charges. This surprising outcome left many questioning the justice system and wondering how such serious allegations could result in no conviction. However, this acquittal was far from the end of Kelly's legal woes. Instead, it set the stage for future allegations and investigations. The controversy surrounding the 2002 case and subsequent acquittal created a cloud of suspicion that would follow Kelly for years to come, laying the groundwork for the numerous accusations and legal challenges he would face in the future. As the Me Too movement gained momentum in 2017, a spotlight was once again cast on R. Kelly's troubling past. Long-standing allegations of sexual misconduct resurfaced, with reports claiming he was running a cult involving young women. This renewed scrutiny set the stage for a seismic shift in public perception. Enter Surviving R. Kelly, a documentary series that would change everything. Airing in 2019, it featured heart-wrenching testimonies from several women who alleged abuse at the hands of the R&B star. Their stories were raw, detailed, and deeply disturbing. The impact was immediate and far-reaching. Social media exploded with reactions as viewers grappled with the shocking revelations. The documentary didn't just rehash old accusations, it presented a comprehensive, damning picture of decades of alleged abuse. Public outrage reached a fever pitch. Fans wrestled with their feelings about Kelly's music, and many chose to mute the artist. The music industry, long criticized for turning a blind eye, faced mounting pressure to cut ties with Kelly. This perfect storm of the Me Too movement and Surviving R. Kelly didn't just increase awareness, it demanded action. The court of public opinion had reached its verdict, setting the stage for the legal battles that would follow. The legal storm surrounding R. Kelly reached its peak in 2019 when federal prosecutors brought a slew of charges against the singer. In New York, Kelly faced racketeering charges, a legal strategy typically reserved for organized crime. But in this case, prosecutors argued that Kelly had essentially run a criminal enterprise dedicated to luring young women and girls for sexual purposes. The New York trial, which concluded in September 2021, painted a disturbing picture of Kelly's actions. Witnesses testified about a pattern of abuse, manipulation, and exploitation. The jury found Kelly guilty on all counts, including racketeering and violations of the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting people across state lines for illegal sexual purposes. In February 2022, the hammer fell. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for his crimes in New York. But the legal troubles didn't end there. Later that same year, Kelly faced another trial in Chicago. This time, the charges focused on child pornography and obstruction of justice. The evidence presented was equally damning, and once again, Kelly was convicted. For the Chicago charges, Kelly received a 20-year sentence. However, in a small reprieve, the judge ruled that most of this sentence would run concurrently with his New York sentence. This means that Kelly is now facing a total of 31 years behind bars, with his projected release not until 2045. These convictions mark a stunning fall for a man once hailed as the king of R&B and serve as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked power and abuse in the entertainment industry. In a significant turn of events, the Supreme Court has decisively shut down R. Kelly's latest attempt to overturn his federal sex crimes convictions. The disgraced R&B singer's petition, which hinged on a statute of limitations argument, was rejected without comment, effectively closing this chapter of his legal saga. At the core of Kelly's appeal was a complex argument about timing. He contended that the federal government had improperly prosecuted him under a revised statute of limitations that didn't exist when his alleged crimes occurred. Prior to 2003, such cases couldn't be brought after the victim's 25th birthday. However, the law was amended that year to extend prosecution throughout the victim's lifetime. Kelly's legal team argued that this change shouldn't apply to his case, as his alleged crimes took place before the amendment. They claimed that prosecuting him under the new law was essentially applying it retroactively, which they argued was unconstitutional. However, both the appeals court and now the Supreme Court have disagreed with this interpretation. The 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals previously ruled that applying the newer statute of limitations wasn't unconstitutional because Kelly was already subject to prosecution when the law changed in 2003. The Supreme Court's decision not to hear the case effectively upholds this ruling. What's particularly noteworthy is that the High Court didn't even ask the government to respond before putting the petition on for its private conference. This is often seen as a sign that an appeal is headed for rejection, which indeed turned out to be the case. This decision by the Supreme Court leaves R. Kelly with few remaining legal options. It solidifies his convictions and the substantial prison sentences he's currently serving. The rejection of this appeal serves as a stark reminder of the gravity of Kelly's crimes and the strength of the evidence against him. As it stands, R. Kelly finds himself behind bars, facing a future vastly different from his days as a chart-topping R&B star. The once celebrated singer is currently serving a combined 31-year sentence, with 20 years for his Chicago convictions running concurrently with a 30-year sentence from his New York case. Based on these sentences, Kelly isn't expected to see freedom until 2045, when he'll be 78 years old. Despite the Supreme Court's recent rejection of his appeal, Kelly's legal team hasn't thrown in the towel just yet. They've indicated their intention to pursue further appeals, although the path forward looks increasingly narrow. The question remains, what does this mean for Kelly's future? The implications of these convictions are far-reaching. Not only has Kelly lost his freedom, but his legacy as an artist has been irreparably tarnished. His music, once a staple on radio stations and at parties, has largely been pulled from playlists and streaming services. The entertainment industry has essentially blacklisted him, making any potential comeback, even after his release, highly unlikely. Moreover, the financial implications are severe. Legal fees, potential civil suits, and the loss of royalties have likely decimated his once considerable fortune. It's a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change when justice finally catches up. The R. Kelly case has sent shockwaves through the music industry and society at large, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, fame, and accountability. For decades, the entertainment world has grappled with issues of sexual misconduct, but Kelly's case stands out due to its scale and the length of time over which the abuse occurred. This case has sparked crucial conversations about consent, particularly in situations where there's a significant power imbalance. It's raised questions about how we view and treat young women, especially women of color, in the entertainment industry and beyond. The music industry in particular has been forced to reckon with its role in enabling and sometimes even protecting alleged abusers. Record labels, promoters, and fellow artists are now facing increased scrutiny over their willingness to turn a blind eye to misconduct for the sake of profit or maintaining relationships. Moreover, Kelly's case has highlighted the importance of believing and supporting survivors. The women who came forward, many of whom were dismissed or disbelieved for years, have become powerful voices in the fight against sexual abuse. This case serves as a stark reminder that talent and fame do not excuse criminal behavior. It's pushing society to reevaluate how we idolize public figures and the responsibility that comes with celebrity status. As we move forward, the hope is that the lessons learned from this case will lead to meaningful changes in how we address and prevent sexual abuse, both in the entertainment world and in society as a whole. As we wrap up today's episode, the R. Kelly case stands as a stark reminder of the long and often arduous journey towards justice in cases of sexual violence. From early allegations to final convictions, this saga has exposed deep-rooted issues in our society and the entertainment industry. The Supreme Court's recent rejection of Kelly's appeal underscores the gravity of his crimes and the strength of the evidence against him. This case has sparked crucial conversations about accountability, power dynamics, and the importance of believing survivors. What are your thoughts on how we can prevent similar cases in the future? Join the discussion in the comments and tune in next time as we delve into another gripping true crime story. Power, pleasure, and pain. A study of abuse through time. This book provides a detailed examination of how sexual violence and power dynamics have manifested across different historical periods, from ancient civilizations to the modern era. It explores how figures in positions of power used their influence to manipulate and exploit others, showing that the patterns of abuse we see today have deep historical roots. Many people struggle to grasp why abuse of power, particularly sexual violence, persists in modern society. By connecting historical events with contemporary cases, the book offers crucial insights into why such behaviors remain prevalent. The book analyzes infamous cases such as those of Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Dominique Pellicotte, drawing parallels between them and historical figures. This section highlights how the systemic abuse seen in recent times is not a new phenomenon, but part of an ongoing cultural issue. Through the lens of these modern examples, readers will gain a better understanding of how institutions, wealth, and power have historically shielded perpetrators from justice, contributing to their ability to continue harming others. The book explores the philosophy of libertarianism, particularly through the works of Marquis de Sade, to explain the disturbing ways in which pleasure, power, and cruelty have been intertwined. This provides readers with a deeper philosophical context to interpret modern-day scandals. Unlike other studies that focus solely on historical or contemporary cases, this book uniquely blends both, offering a full spectrum of how abuse is tied to power dynamics. It stands out by making philosophical connections that help readers understand the deeper societal issues at play.